be playing some Pokemon trading card game online standard format. The new format is still fairly brand new on Pokemon trading card game online. Some decks got hit a lot harder than others. Some are now unplayable due to the cut. Some disappeared altogether, some just got a lot weaker. The big ones that left the format were N and Computer Search, Virizion EX, Keldeo EX, Jirachi EX. And those are what I would say are the biggest ones that left. I mean, Colress left, but people seem to be playing Colors a little less nowadays as it was. So we're going to be looking at Rayquaza EX. All this deck really lost was N and a Computer Search. So not a disaster. I'm getting a really bad start here. I'm in trouble if my opponent manages to get a Blacksmith next turn, because that could potentially be a knocked out Rayquaza. Sometimes these matches just happen where you just you can't draw your draw power. I have 4 Shauna, 4 Professor Sycamore, and 3 Shaymin EX, so it's pretty unfortunate that we're not getting any of that good stuff. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and Mega Evolve. There's a good chance that it'll get knocked out next turn, though, if he does get the energy for Explosive Jet. Yeah, this might be a bum game. It's very likely that this will be a bum game for me. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and leave this one. Since I am currently recording live, I don't want to spend too much time on games that are lost causes. I don't like leaving mid-game, but draws like that just, especially when you're recording, just don't want to stick around in. Which is really odd. That very, very rarely happens with the Mega Rayquaza deck, because there's a lot of draw potential in that deck. We even have Hoopa EX in there as well now to search out for Shaymins and other Rayquazas. So lots of consistency boosters in that deck. So usually we can draw just fine. Looks like we're going to be doing a little better this turn, just based on our first draws. In fact, we might have too much draw power right now. So this is gonna be Mega Gallade. I've tried Mega Gallade myself a few times. I just can't get it to be consistent, but there's definitely potential in that deck. Like, definite potential, because it can hypothetically do, let's see, how much damage? So I believe it's 110 or something to the active, then 30 to each of the benched Pokemon with damage counters on it. So yeah, lots of potential damage available with Mega Gallade. Okay, let's grab another Rayquaza. It's not overdue with the Shaymins yet. Actually, let's just get those 2 for now. I don't want to overcommit. Excellent. Excellent. I'll go ahead and Mega Turbo. I don't mind. And Emerald Break for a good first turn knockout. See, that's how this deck's supposed to run. Hoopa EX is a great new tool that we got in Ancient Origins. for setups like that where we can grab Shamans and Rayquazas at the same time. Unfortunately, it is sort of a dead card after you've used its ability. We're not running any Psychic Energy to use its attack, which, if it didn't cost 3 full Psychic Energies, it would actually be a really cool attack, because it can snipe for 100, which there's a lot of bench sitters nowadays in the format, whether it be Shaman EX or Bronzong or something like that. So searching for an opponent. I'm surprised I really haven't been running into any Mega Sceptile decks now. I know that's not an amazing deck, but you will see builds of it online, and it is something I see a lot of people wanting on the trade section of Pokemon Trading Card Game Online. So there's gotta be at least a few Mega Sceptile decks out there, but I don't think I've run into a single one so far. We're up against Xerneas. Wonder what type of fairy deck this is. You know, there's a lot of good options for fairy. Just hope it's not Seismitoad, because it seems like for some reason fairies, even though Seismitoad has gotten consistently worse with the ban of Trump Card, and now the new set doesn't have N to back it up. Florges, huh? So that's actually a card where my Skyfield trainer actually can benefit my opponent, which is unfortunate. Double Ultra Ball move here. Guess I'll discard the Darkness Energy just because I do have Mega Turbos. And let's see, I'll grab Hoopa. Just such a good card for setups with Mega Evolutions, especially with Delta Evolution, Mega Rayquaza. The Theta Max one is really cool too. I have that one in real life, but just almost every time you're gonna have the Delta Evolution be more favorable for you. Let's get 3 cards. I still have not played a supporter, so there's still a very good chance I could get a switch card, which I do run. No matter how low my retreat costs are, I can't bring myself not to run switch. Not getting what I need though. This is okay. Don't know what I want to commit this double colorless energy to. Suppose I'll go with Mega Rayquaza. Might as well go all out with this and end turn. So that Pikachu's out there. It shouldn't get knocked out this turn looking at it, and I do have some level balls in hand to make that into a Raichu and get free retreat, which is my plan. There's a lot less hand disruption now, so there is less concern of losing what's in your hand. So this Cottonee, actually it's the Whimsicott that has a pretty weird attack where you take the damage that's on one of your bench Pokemon and put it on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And I think it only costs 1 energy, which is, that's pretty strong, especially if you have weakened Pokemon. So basically, now that I see that he's playing that, I'm going to be trying to get only one-hit knockouts, which is possible. This is one of those decks that can revolve around one-hit knockouts, so let's see what we can do about that. We'll use Shauna. Shauna's not a perfect end replacement, but it's draw power, and that's what we want. I'm gonna save the Skyfield. I don't, for some reason I get a weird feeling about playing it too early. I do have Winona in hand, so I can fill up the bench if I need to against a Florges EX. Or maybe it's a tough call. I mean, Florges is not going to be able to knock out a Mega Rayquaza. It will be able to knock out a lot of other things with that Bright Garden ability, but yeah, let's go ahead and play it. Alright, we get an energy off that. We really want to set up another Mega Rayquaza. Just because, well, I mean, with Skyfield, how much can I do? 20 times 8. Hey, with Skyfield and a full bench, Raichu can actually knock out a Florges EX, so that is very good to know, because sometimes we don't only want to depend on our EX attackers. 160 damage, 160 HP rather, that is just such an odd amount for a Pokemon to have. I suppose do I want to set up another Mega or Rayquaza or a Raichu, now that I know that? Just because he has multiple Florges set up, I can guarantee that I have this. Yeah, I think Raichu is going to be the right attach for that one. I could knock him out this turn and save Mega Rayquaza. Then, yeah, let's do that actually. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. So it seems like a counterintuitive move, but I think Raichu was the right one to take that knockout, and not Rayquaza in this situation. Maybe save Rayquaza for later. We could only set up a Mega Rayquaza using Mega Turbos or something like that if we can find them, even though I've already used one of my two, just because I don't like overcommitting to spaces in a deck for Mega Turbo, because sometimes you just can't use it. These lower HP decks love the Teammates card, because you gotta admit that you're gonna go behind in prizes. He did make sure that I knocked out a one non-EX, so I do have to take at least 2 more knockouts, unless he could do something weird. No, Ilysander, gotta take 2 more knockouts. That's it. It doesn't matter. As long as one of them's a Florges, then I only need 2 more knockouts. Then I win this game. Like, Florges is just one of those cards that's just not quite good enough. The low HP and the fact that that Bright Garden is basically Raichu Circle Circuit, but requires Fairy energy. I have the knockout that I want right in front of me. Let's go Professor Sycamore. I have plenty of cards left to close out this game with the way that I'm set up right now. Oh shoot. Forgot to get a Rayquaza before I did that. Shoot. Well, I didn't mean to attach that extra energy. Let's hope that doesn't bite me. I forgot that I hadn't gotten a second Mega Rayquaza yet. Let's see, there's one DCD in the discard, 14 cards left. I'll take 2 cards here. There's a very low chance that I'll miss my double colorless energy next turn. Then I can take out something with Raichu. Let's hope that doesn't mess me up. I was getting cocky, I think. Yeah, that was not the move I needed to make there. But it's okay. What are my other options? Oh, so many of these other attacks are just so low damage output. Because I just need anything. If I can take out Cottony, that'd be great. If I could take out Spritzee, that'd be great. But these attacks are actually just out of reach. Like, that's only 40 damage on that Cottony that I need to do. It's not that much. So he's buying some time here. This is a good move by my opponent, forcing me to need a switch in order to close the game out. And I've already, let's see, 1 switch. I only have 1 other switch. So he may have just bought himself some time with that move. Hey, I'm not sure. Looking for a switch. Looking for a switch. Got the switch. I've got the game. There we go. I could have done it with Raichu too. But I already have the Rayquaza. I don't like spiking the football too much. Just if the winning move's there, just do it. It's very rare, unless it's like a new deck that I want to see how much damage I can do with a certain Pokemon. I'll just take the knockout if it's right there in front of me. So maybe like 1 or 2 more games, then I'll call this session a day. Let's do Machamp. I haven't put any videos on this channel for Machamp yet. And look at what my opponent's playing. Now, if he is seriously running that many types of Pokemon, there's a good chance this is one of the new Evolution decks, which is awesome. Like, I need to make one of those decks for myself. Because what that is it basically turning your deck into one of the only true toolbox decks you can have. Now, it's not that powerful in a lot of ways, but it is definitely worth keeping in mind. I'm not sure if we'll see it on in tournament play or anything, but it's definitely a cool deck. 3 Unknown right off the bat. Unknown's a cool new card where if it's on your bench, you can discard it into your discard pile and draw some cards. And it works great with Be Revenge, where it's not as great as something like the Revenge Flareon, but as you can see later on in this game, when he starts getting EVs, it's going to be able to do a lot of damage. Now, thankfully, there is no Espeon in the deck. See, what all the evolutions do is they give their type to all the other Stage 1 Pokemon. So that would make Vespiquen, if Vaporeon is in play, Vespiquen would be grass and water at the same time and hit for super effective damage both ways. Thankfully, the only one I really have to worry about is Flareon, and my opponent, that my deck only cares about Flareon if they're attacking my Ariados and Spinarak. So, because all my other Pokemon, well, I guess that's not true. I guess, as far as my main attacker goes, that's weak to Psychic, but Landorus is weak to Water, so you would want to have Vaporeon in the deck, and I did see him discard a Vaporeon, and he also discarded a Eevee. I noticed earlier. He probably will want these Jolteon and Vaporeon later, because I do have some Pokemon that are weak to those two types. But I think he's just trying to see how far he can set up with this first turn. He's drawn a lot of cards. Really doesn't look like too much on the field, though. Okay, so let's go with... I mean, might as well throw a Headringer down in case he wants to do some Sky Return stuff. I'm going to be using Professor Sycamore this turn, so I'm just going to discard some stuff. I should probably get a fresh Spinarak too. Just because it's not looking so great for that one that's out there. 7 new cards. What can I do now? Always put your Muscle Band on your Machamp as soon as you get it, because you don't want to get a Headringer on that. I think that's all I really need to do right now. There's no reason to play VS Seekers early, because N is no longer in the format to disrupt your hand. Let's see. Now, he did get a lot of stuff in the discard pile. He did get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Pokemon into the discard pile, which means that Be Revenge attack is going to do 90, which is 2-hit knockout on Machamp, 1-hit knockout on Spinarak, 1-hit knockout on Hawlucha, 2-hit knockout on Landorus. He's AZ. That's okay. The Headringer's not that important to me. I'm just glad that he used it, and that means that that's his support for the turn. No Professor Sycamore, no Lysandre. Now, when these types of decks show up, which they've shown up, like every format seems to have a deck like this. It used to be that if Lysander's trump card was played, then you'd almost lose immediately, but now without that card, it's not nearly as frightening. I just realized that Vespiquen only has 90 HP. That is something to keep in mind. So really, in all reality, I don't need Spinarak. So that's... I thought it had 100 or 130 HP, because Crazy Hammer does 80 on its own. I have the Muscle Band and the Strong Energy already. So maybe I don't need it, and I can maybe even sack this one. Professor Sycamore, because I'm not getting much right now. My opponent's definitely gotten a lot more than I have. I mean, Ariados might as well, I guess. But I'm not really gonna need it. Do I even want to get Hawlucha? I mean, the only thing that Hawlucha would be attacking is Shaymin EX, and that resists fighting. So I guess I'll just end turn there. See if he takes out Ariados. Maybe I should have waited to put that Machamp down, just in case there was a Lysander. No, he chooses Sycamore over Lysander. The thing about these decks, they're very strong, they could do a lot of damage, but they're very flimsy. But since I've had a little bit of a hard time setting up properly, what's going to hold Machamp back from seeing any tournament play, at least high-ranking tournament play, is the fact that you need to attach 3 times manually. There's no real way to set that up quickly. And we're seeing what that can cost you pretty badly here. Okay, so he's at 140 damage. So there's a good chance that... Okay, we'll use that. We take that. And if I knock out this Vespiquen, that'll be 2 more Pokemon in the discard pile. It's yeah, for each Pokemon, not basic Pokemon. That'll put 2 more Pokemon, so that's at 160. What do I have in here? That's tricky. Man, that is a tough call. What I want to do. I was hoping to have a Lysander. I'm not too concerned about discarding these strong energies just because the Pokemon I have to knock out are not very powerful. Like, what does this do? I mean, I can put down Fighting Stadium, I guess. I don't know how the rest of this game's gonna go. I just don't. Take my 1 prize. I am glad that I've decided to run Enhanced Hammer in this deck. It actually, for decks that are slower and clunkier like Machamp, you're going to want to have some sort of disruption. I've considered even putting Crushing Hammer, but I think Enhanced Hammer's enough. Because, I hate it when hammers are used against me. So what my opponent has to do to get the knockout here is he's going to have to get a double Colorless Energy and 2 more Pokemon in the discard pile. That's really not asking for much in this format, where there's a lot of good draw power, and he is running Shaymin EX. So that's definitely a possibility. He could easily get those 2 things and knock out Machamp EX, and at that point I might as well concede the game, because having to build up another Machamp is just no time for it anymore. So there's one piece of the puzzle, and if he gets the Sycamore and he has some Pokemon in his hand, that could be it. Sycamore. What's he discarding? 1, 2. He's got it. That's 180 damage. Very, very nice. Vespiquen's a cool deck if you're building on a budget. I know the Top Cut YouTube channel used to have a series called Building on a Budget. Vespiquen, it's an uncommon card, and the cards you'll be running with it are also uncommon, and it sometimes takes a lot to set it up, but it's a good deck, actually. Very good deck. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and finish up playing this one. I don't see any real chance of legitimately winning the game, but might as well. It's been interesting to see how this matchup worked, and you know, Machamp thrives more on getting knockouts on big Pokemon, big EX Pokemon. You really only want to take 3 big knockouts, and that's it. Because it's a much slower process to knock out these smaller Pokemon. If he gets another double colorless down on that Vespiquen, then he'll just knock this out. I mean, unless there's a slim chance that his last double colorless is in his prize cards, which I don't see being very likely. I mean, that'd just be too perfect for me, right? So he'll get some draw power with his Shaman. Does not have a ton of cards left in his deck. He's burned through a lot of it. There's double colorless. There we are. I mean, I slowed it down best I could, but really, against decks that can attack off 1 energy attachment, Machamp struggles a lot. Well, those were some pretty good games. I'm not sure what time I'm at, but I think I'm going to go ahead and call that a night. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later.